"Annabelle, are you sure we should be doing this?" John said, his voice shaking in fear. "John, let's just try. If the adults are doing it, then we should be able to do it too," Annabelle replied, her voice strong. Ngozi paced around her living room, her mind racing with worry, wondering what was wrong with Annabelle. For weeks, Annabelle had been acting strangely. Her daughter, who used to light up every room she entered, now seemed to carry a cloud of silence and unease around her. One evening, as Ngozi was in the kitchen preparing dinner, she called out, "Annabelle, come and help me with the vegetables." "I'm busy, Mama," Annabelle replied from her room. Ngozi frowned. This wasn't the cheerful child who used to sing while peeling potatoes. Something had shifted, and Ngozi couldn't shake the feeling that it wasn't just teenage mood swings. Meanwhile, at Ada's house, things weren't much better. John, who once spent hours running around the compound with Annabelle, was now glued to his phone. He barely attended to any of his house chores. He barely remembers that he had an assignment from school to attend to. He barely responded to his mother's questions and avoided eye contact. Ada became worried and decided to have a talk with him. "John, I've been talking to you," Ada said sternly one evening. "Yes, Mama," he mumbled without looking up. Ada sitting on his bed. "You have been behaving strange lately, John. There any problem?" Ada asked with curiosity. "Mom, I'm fine, I'm just tired," John said, mumbling his face. Ada sighed and walked away, her heart heavy. She couldn't figure out what was wrong with her son, but she was too tired from work to dig deeper. Ada and Ngozi are two best friends from childhood, who literally does everything together. They went to same school, studied same course, and graduated from school at the same day. In fact, some people thought they are twins. Ngozi works in a large company, while Ada owns a boutique. They both take their businesses seriously. Ada gave birth to John, while Ngozi gave birth to Annabelle. Ada and Ngozi are both busy women who often goes to work early in the morning and returns late in the night, leaving only the two kids all at home. After school, Annabelle and John will walk home together. They often do their assignments together, play in the compound, and do all sorts of fun. One day, Ada bought for John a smartphone. It wasn't a brand new phone, just a simple one to keep him entertained while she was at work. She figured he might feel bored whenever she is not around. "Here," Ada said, handing John the phone. "You can use this to watch cartoons and play games after school, but no funny business, okay?" "Yes, Ma," John said, his eyes lighting up. "Thank you, Ma." At first, the phone was a source of joy. John and Annabelle would sit on the porch, laughing at funny videos and playing games together. Whenever they closed from school, John and Annabelle runs home to play with the phone, watching funny comedy, and playing games. One quiet afternoon, as Annabelle and John sat on a bench outside their compound, with the phone on their hands watching comedies and playing games, Annabelle asked, "John, let's search for something new. I'm bored of these games." "Okay," John said, typing random words into the search bar. That's when they stumbled upon the first strange video on a site they didn't know of. "What is this?" Annabelle asked, leaning closer. "I don't know, but it looks different," John replied. "Let's watch it." The video was dark and confusing, filled with strange sounds and images that neither of them understood. But instead of turning it off, they watched more, their curiosity pulling them deeper. "I feel we should not be watching this," Annabelle says. "Let's just see what will happen," John say. The next day after school, Annabelle rushed to John's house as usual. "John, do you have more of those videos?" she asked eagerly. "Yes," John whispered, glancing around to make sure his mother wasn't nearby. "But I thought you don't like the video. Why did you suddenly want to watch the video?" he asked in a low tune. "Well, I guess I just suddenly changed my mind about it in class. I just can't get the images off my head," Annabelle replied. "Well, we have to watch them in my room. It's safer there." They locked the door and sat on the bed, the phone between them. The videos were disturbing, but something about them made the children feel curious and excited. "Why are they doing that?" Annabelle asked during one clip. "I don't know," John said, his eyes glued to the screen. "But it's kind of cool, isn't it?" "Maybe," Annabelle replied, though a part of her felt uneasy. Suddenly, the sound of the compound gate creaking open to realize their mothers might be back. John fumbled with the phone on his hands, trembling in fear, but instead of closing the video, he accidentally turned the volume up. Annabelle gasped, "Turn the volume off, now can't you hear her coming closer?" "I am trying," he whispers, his body trembling in fear. Footsteps echoes from the compound. The children froze, listening to the sound of the footstep. The voices of their mother grew louder as they approached the apartment. John finally managed to turn on the phone and shove the phone under his bed. The door handle rattled. John opened this door. Ada's voice called. Both children decide to play hide and seek. Ada didn't notice anything suspicious because she usually sees Annabelle around, playing with John. The next day, John and Annabelle returned from school, their uniform rumpled from the day activities. They entered the compound and noticed everywhere was silent. Their mothers are off to work again. They were excited and nervous at the same time. John rushed into his room. He threw his bag and lunchbox and changed into a normal shirt and shorts. Annabelle in her room hurriedly changed into a casual dress and dashed into John's house. She knocked on his door and he opened it. He was surprised to see her. "Annabelle, I have been waiting for you," he said. "Let's finish the movie from yesterday," Annabelle replied with anticipation. John nodded, locking the door behind her. The both dashed onto the bed with the phone between them. John turned on the site where he located the video, as the screen lit up with the paused image from the previous day. "Let us keep this as a secret," John said. Glancing at Annabelle, Annabelle nodded. "Of course, just you and me. The continue watching the video, though, can't still put the piece together." But something about the video felt thrilling and forbidden. This became their little secret, a place where they can go to only when the compound is quiet and their mothers are away. This few months, their secret continues. The moment their mother stepped out of the compound, Annabelle will sneak to John's room to continue from where they stopped. The more they watch the strange video, the more the change. Annabelle and John, they two happy kids who always keeps the compound lively and noisy, suddenly became calm and dull. They both of them stopped playing outside, stopped laughing, and stopped talking to their parents. Instead, they spent hours locked away, watching videos that filled their young minds with confusion. After school, Annabelle and John returned home. They noticed the compound is quiet. Their mothers are off to work. John dashed into his room, threw his bag on the floor, and quickly changed into his normal dress. While Annabelle, on the other hand, hurried up, she throws her bag on the floor and changed into her casual cloth. She immediately dashed into John's room, feeling happy to continue from where they had stopped. She knocked on the door, and he opened it. He was happy to see Annabelle again. "John, let us continue the video," Annabelle said. "Okay, Annabelle, come in," smiling at her. They both jumped on top of the bed happily. John brings out his phone and searched for the video. They phoned between them. The screen lit up with the pause image of the previous day. They both of them watched in silence, staring at the phone, confused on what they are watching. "We should try this," Annabelle sighed, looking at John. "Are you serious?" "But I thought you don't really love the video," John replied. "I know, John. The video looks confusing, I believe, if we practice it. Then we can get a better understanding." John nodded, looking at her surprised. "Annabelle, where should we stay?" John said in a low and soft tone. "I really don't know. Maybe we can check the bathroom," Annabelle replied. "That's true, let go there and see," John said in a whispering tone. The bathroom door creaked open. John and Annabelle went in, their face unreadable. John and Annabelle, still confused on what they were about to do, heard a sound from the compound. They looked through the window and saw their mothers talking happily. "John am back," John's mom called out. John and Annabelle, still in shock, realized themselves. They both hurried up, arranging their cloth in order, and they pretended to be playing hide and seek again. "Mom, Mom," Annabelle calls out, running to her mom outside. "Mom, I really misses you," Annabelle said, trying to avoid any negative thought. John, on the other hand, quickly hugged his mother warmly. "Mom, we really miss you," John said, holding his mother tightly. The next day, Ada and Ngozi, as usually, are preparing for work. While John and Annabelle are also preparing to go to school, they get all set up and ready to go to their various placing. Ada dropped the kids in their school. Goodbye, kids. Mommy is going to work now. Okay, goodbye, Mom. The both replied, heading straight to their classroom. They sat down on their chair, paying less attention to the class teacher. Their thought was tangled on the images from video. The school bell rang for break. John went to sit under a tree in his school, bored and confused. He can't seem to get the images in the video off his head. As he sat down there, Annabelle walked up to him with an unreadable face. John, how are you doing? She said, am fine, just bored. John replied her. Are you angry at me? Annabelle asked, putting on a serious and an unreadable face. No. Why should I be angry at you? John replied, looking at her. Because I tried to convince you to do what you don't want to do, Annabelle replied. Annabelle, you didn't do anything wrong. I also agreed to it too. How I wish we tried it yesterday. We could understand the video better, John replied. You mean it, Annabelle exclaimed. John nodded in response. Okay then, we are going to try again today. The break is over. All the students moved to their various classes. John and Annabelle also went to their class, gazing at the well clock. Being absent-minded in class, they just can't wait for the school to be over. Finally, the school is over. John and Annabelle walked fast. Faster than their legs can carry. On getting home, they noticed the compound quite again. John rushed to his room. He quickly pulled off his school uniform and changed to his casual cloth. Annabelle went straight to her room, throws her bag on the floor, and quickly changed into a casual dress. She quickly dashed into John's room. She knocked on his door. John quickly get the door. Annabelle, you are here. John said, can we continue from where we stopped yesterday? Annabelle replied. Annabelle, are you sure about this? John said, looking at her. Yes, let's do it, Annabelle replied him. Seeing the sincerity on her eyes, John and Annabelle moved to the bathroom along with the phone. Play the video and keep the phone on the window, Annabelle said. Okay, John replied. That off your underwear, John said, his voice shaking in fear, not sure if what he's doing. Annabelle takes of her underwear and they both of them begins. John trying to arrange Annabelle in the wall position. Annabelle, you have to face the wall with your hands holding well. Annabelle did just that, facing the wall. John moved closer to her, still in fear. They began practicing what they have seen on the video. John pulled down his underwear, following what he had watched from the video. Annabelle, are you sure we should be doing this? John said, his voice shaking in fear. John, let's just try. If the adults are doing it, then we should be able to do it too, Annabelle replied, her voice strong. John leaned closer and they both started. As he was about penetrating into an unknown world, Annabelle screamed, feeling a sharp pain underneath. She got out of the bathroom holding her stomach. Annabelle, what the problem? John said I felt a pain below my stomach. She replied, still holding her stomach.